there, welcome to a very special edition of Bear Necessities, the world's greatest podcast about the Coventry Bears. We live at covbearspodcast.com, we're at covbearspodcast on Twitter, and you can find all our episodes on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube, and all the usual haunts. I'm one of your hosts, Dave Musson, and joining me as always, my co-host and former Bears player, Craig Cathcart, who is here to help run this special episode, which is dedicated to this weekend's Challenge Cup 5th round match, which sees the Bears facing Super League's Widnes Vikings at the Halton Stadium. Craig, we talked about this on previous shows, so we probably don't need to ramble on too much here, but it's all very exciting and very real now, isn't it?
Yeah, you've done a fantastic job with the interviews that you got on this show, and it's just a very exciting occasion for the Bears to be going to such a historic team and to such a wonderful stadium as well. It's going to be a brilliant day.
So, if you're a regular with us, then thank you for coming back. And if you're a Bears fan listening for the first time, where have you been all this time? Anyway, second, if you're a Vikings fan who's perhaps curious about this little team from the Midlands you're playing on Saturday, or you just want to hear our main interview, hello, welcome. It's great to have you here. So coming up, we're going to give this match, which kicks off at 1 p.m. on Saturday, 21st of April, a proper preview and hopefully give you something that fans of both teams will enjoy. So we're going to hear from Coventry Bears Club President Ron Banks about the last time the Bears played at the Halton Stadium in Widnes. We'll talk to the current Bears player Ben Stead, who is the one man in our squad who has experience of playing and scoring against Widnes in the Challenge Cup. And Craig and I each have 5 facts about each team, so we can all get to know each other a bit better and snack on some quick trivia. But first, there's only one place to start. So any Widnes fans here, they certainly won't need me to say how much of a legend Sorensen is at the Vikings. He was captain of the team when they won just about everything going at the end of the 80s, and he was a brilliant servant to the club. Well, after his time in England, Kurt coached some junior sides on the Gold Coast, and one of those sides included current Bears prop James Geurtjens. So with that kind of link, we'd have been fools not to make the most of it. So with the help very much of James Geurtjens, we've reunited coach and player, especially for the podcast. So with that in mind, here's when Geurts met Kurt. Right, as you all know, the Coventry Bears' next opponent in this history-making Challenge Cup run is Super League's Widnes Vikings, and we're very fortunate here on Bear Necessities to be joined now by a legend from each of those clubs. So first up, representing the Bears, is fan favourite, friend of this podcast, and just all-round excellent human being, James Geurtjens. James, are you well? How are you doing?
Hey, mate, that's good raps there. Yeah, I'm really good. Really good.
Good. And very excitingly, representing the Vikings, we're joined on the line by one of the biggest stars from a period in the club's history when they were full of big stars. It's Widnes and New Zealand legend Kurt Sorensen. Kurt, welcome to Bear Necessities. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Very good.
It's great to have you both. So I think I said this before we clicked record, but just for those listening, to avoid confusion, we're going for Kurt and James rather than Kurt and Geurts, because it's just too confusing otherwise, particularly when we're trying to coordinate people from across different continents. So to start with, I guess we should explain why we've got you two gentlemen on the show together, because this isn't a random pairing. So between you both, just tell our listeners the story of how you know each other. I don't mind which one of you goes first.
Yeah, I'll go first. So basically, as a junior, I think I was under 16s and 17s, I think it was. Kurt started coaching my team. So okay. I think I got a most improved award there somewhere as well, back when I was a winger.
A winger? Wow.
Yeah.
So Kurt, at the Bears, we know James as a sort of swashbuckling, hard-hitting prop who drives the team forward, and he puts in all the big hits. I mean, he's just mentioned he was a winger when you coached him. So what was he like when you had him in your team?
Oh, I think he was pretty raw and but full of potential.
Are you surprised he's transitioned from wing to prop?
No, I think he's probably. I don't know if he probably wanted to do it. You know, sheer physicality probably is what happened in the end. And you know, when you get a bit older, you slow down a bit. So it's probably.
What do you mean?
And James, I mean, what was Kurt like as a coach? Because I guess Kurt played prop when he was playing. So was he someone you looked up to when you made that transition to your current position?
I didn't actually turn into a prop until later on in my years.
Okay.
I went from wings, I think, to centre, then to second row, and the slower and bigger I got, the more towards the engine room I went. But as a coach, he was a good, very knowledgeable coach. No nonsense as well. I remember before we had Kurt, we used to play around a bit and muck around, but he was a bit more scary, so we were all a bit more disciplined with Kurt by memory.
And was it intimidating being coached by someone who'd achieved so much in the game?
At that age, I wasn't really aware of much of Kurt's background. I was just a young fella, mad keen about the Brisbane Broncos, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But when he first became our coach, a lot of the boys were really excited, mainly because we had his son playing for us, and he was an absolute machine, Kurt Jr. So him on our team, we'd get smashed a lot less, so it was good.
And Kurt, so our man James, he's not the only one of your players to graduate onto playing at a higher level of the game. I mean, James shared an old photo with me recently, and aside from you both being in it, it also had Jai Arrow from the Titans and Darius Boyd from the Broncos. It sounds like you had a good bunch of players there.
Yeah, well, Jai Arrow was just a ball boy.
Yeah,
he was my assistant coach's son. And he lived and breathed football. He always had a football in his hand. But it was quite interesting following his sort of path up the ranks, and then finally to achieve sort of playing at the top level. And Darius apparently hadn't played representative football before that. All the juniors, they reckon he didn't play representative or state football. And I remember one of the grand finals we played. One of the coaches from West Tigers sort of asked me, who would you think would make it? And they had come to watch someone else, mm-hmm. And I said him, Darius. I said, yeah, probably him. He's never made any rep before, but I think he's probably the only one I would say that would make it really, really to the top.
Okay, and are you still involved in coaching now?
No, I'm not. I'm not coaching. I was mainly coaching just because the two sons were playing grade football in Burleigh, so I help coach their teams.
Okay. Now, James, you're a big part of the Bears off the field work, and you do a lot of going into schools and spreading the game in the area. Do you draw on anything from the coaches you've worked with, such as Kurt in your junior years when you're doing that community stuff?
Yeah, well, that's all the experiences you have. Obviously, I've had a lot of different coaches, and you take all the good bits out and you try and bring it into your own coaching structure and whatnot. So definitely pick up things, for sure.
Okay, so you're both here because obviously the Bears have been drawn away to Widnes in the Challenge Cup. Now, for those listening who somehow don't know, Kurt's kind of a big deal in Widnes. I mean, he was part of their golden era in the late 80s, captained the side that won the championship, the Premiership, and even the World Club Championship. I mean, Kurt, you must look back on your time with Widnes with a lot of pride.
Yes, I do. I felt that I really reached probably my full potential when I played there. I didn't feel as though I always achieved that in Sydney for whatever reason. So there's a lot of different circumstances I was under when I went to England, and we had to really battle from the bottom, because when I went to England, I picked Widnes. Well, Widnes asked me, but I sort of chose them because they'd been winning all the cups for the last 10 years, and I thought, oh, yep, here's a good team. But when I got there, they lost all their players, and they were in not in a good place, and they were selling their best players, Andy Gregory and Joe Lydon and all the rest of them, left, right and centre. And the first couple of years were very difficult. Mm-hmm. And quite honestly, Graham Lowe was trying to get me to go to Wigan, and I wanted to go, but in the end, Widnes stopped me, and Dougie Lawton became coach, and gradually he convinced me that, together we could turn it around, and that's what we eventually did. And it was so rewarding coming from, where we came from. Just, it was a lot of, not many imports, just mainly all local players. Mm-hmm. And we bought Martin the Fire, and from then on it just went upwards and onwards, and we reached some really great heights. So from a personal point of view, it was very rewarding for me.
I wanted to ask about Martin Afire and Jonathan Davis as well. I mean, they're the big names that often spring to people's mind when they think about Widnes of that era. What were those guys like to have in your team?
Martin, Ducky signed Martin. He watched them play in the Middlesex Sevens, I think it was. He was on a Saturday afternoon, and he was just watching. I think it was on TV. He was relaxing, watching it on TV, and he saw this winger scoring all these tries, and he rang the scout that we had and said, "Can we get hold of this guy? Can we get in contact with him? I want to sign him." So, and that's how the story went with Martin. They went down to London. Dougie Lawton was very convincing, and he made it very appealing to Martin, and he signed, for a song. Mm-hmm. He signed up for 10 years, a 10-year contract. So it was so having Martin in the team. He, once he got sort of used to playing league and that, and we got used to having him in the team, he was like an extra 10 points. He was just phenomenal. Probably be the best winger that I've ever played with. And then Jonathan, well, he was just like icing on the cake. We'd already sort of had a good team then, and he was just another addition to our great team.
Yeah, and James, was there anything you particularly wanted to ask your old coach about his time playing over here, or his exploits in the Challenge Cup, perhaps?
You gave me a heads up, so I thought a couple questions. So Kurt, what is your best Challenge Cup memory?
Probably actually getting there in the end and playing at Wembley. After quite a few years of losing semi-finals with the great side we had, we seemed to be doomed, and there seemed to be a black mark on us going to Wembley. But finally we made it, and it was just like a dream for me. But it's just all the lead-up games to it, and it's just so exciting because it's sudden death, and that if you win, you can keep going. If you lose, you're out. And
second question and final one is, who was the toughest player you played against during your Widnes days?
I don't know if there was one toughest opponent. There's quite a lot of good forwards in those days. I think some of those, the opposing props, Kevin Ward springs to mind as a pretty hard prop, and probably him mainly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Now, Kurt, I'm guessing during your time at Widnes, obviously you mentioned you had lots of cup runs, and you probably had plenty of cup games where, shall we say, less fancied teams came along to play you and just threw caution to the wind and really gave it a go. With this lineup with the Bears are obviously, they're two divisions below Widnes in the rankings in 2018. If you were the Bears coach going into this one against Widnes, what would you say to them going into this game?
Well, it's probably what he's already said. You got nothing to lose, and just throw caution to the wind. I think number one, they got to try to really have a good defence, because at least you can prevent a lot of tries. Just throw caution to the wind, and you sort of you got nothing to lose, basically.
Yeah. And James, while we've got him on the line, here's the opportunity for you to get some tips from your old coach again as the Bears go into battle at Widnes. So what would you want to know if Kurt were your coach again for this one? What would you want to know from him going into this game?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that question. How do I win it? Yeah, how do I win it, Kurt? How are we going to beat Widnes? Cause an absolute biggest upset in English rugby league history?
Well, forget about that, but how do you think you could win it?
Well, the best answer I've got is we need to score definitely more points than them.
That's a good start.
Great goal. Yes.
Yeah.
Who knows what could happen on the day?
That's right.
We'll give it our all.
I think if you can sort of, start well and shock them with your defence. Doesn't matter how good a team you are. That always puts people off.
Yeah.
And you just don't know how far, how much they want to come back, because they'll be expecting to. I've played in lots of games like that. They'll be expecting to thrash us. The team's got to believe in themselves, because once, Widnes will be thinking that, where's it being played at?
It's at Widnes.
Yeah, so they'll be thinking that, it's just going to be a breeze, we don't have to try as hard. I've been in lots of games like that, and once your mind starts behaving like that, a lot of things go out the window. And if the other side can start well and then really have good defence and not let up, it's really hard, and try to get some points on the board. It's really hard for the other team to sort of come back. Doesn't matter what they do, and then if they don't really come back how they want to, they start panicking, and you just don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, they really want to start well and try to keep the pressure up. It's just the game of their lives, and they just got to believe that they could. That's probably the way they're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, there you go, James. That's what you and the Bears have got to do.
Take it in, definitely take it in. Thanks, Kurt.
So,
yeah.
So Kurt, before I let you go, I've got to ask you, who are you going to be rooting for in this one? Your old team or your old player?
Probably a bit of both, but I wouldn't mind seeing an upset.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't tell Widnes.
Yeah, we'll definitely won't tell Widnes that, honest. And James, is there anything else you wanted to ask or say to Kurt before we wrap this thing up?
Just thanks for coming on, mate. I haven't spoken to you for 13 years or something, so appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, but it's funny, Facebook's a funny thing. You can you feel as though you're keeping up with people by just sort of keeping in touch that way.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for that.
Not
that big Facebook fan.
Well, great stuff. Thanks both for coming on. Kurt, I know you came over to Widnes. Looking online, you were last over in Widnes a few years ago. Was it 2014-ish, somewhere around then? Are you likely to be making any visits over here anytime soon?
I always want to come over.
Yeah.
I just need a reason sometimes. So yeah, I'll always say, the door will be open for me to come over there, and I want to go over, but nothing planned at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be over, no doubt, soon.
Yeah, well, there's a World Cup in 3 years, so maybe see you then.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, I was meant to go on the last World Cup, but something happened. It's always something that gets in the way. Anyway, it's all good.
Great. Well, Kurt, James, thank you both so much for your time and for making this thing happen. I know it took a while to get the tech working, but we got there in the end. Really appreciate it. And let's just bring this match on now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, all the best to all you guys, and may the best team win.
Okay, thanks so much to Kurt and to James for their time. And yeah, we definitely haven't told anyone that Kurt would be up for an upset on Saturday. It was nice to hear him say that, wasn't it, Craig?
Yeah, a really fascinating interview, I think. Also really refreshing to see, Kurt is such, he's obviously a legend in the game, but to see that he's so down to earth, and, he's obviously very knowledgeable about the game as well, and, keeps in contact with people he's met over the years as well. Just a fantastic interview that was. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. Okay, so I think it's time for our first bit of trivia. So Craig, I asked you to come up with 5 facts about the Vikings to help educate those Bears fans heading north at the weekend. So over to you. What have you got for us? Right, so let me just see. I have done a little bit of research. Some of these I did know a little bit about beforehand, but I have to say, I didn't know Widnes were as old as they are. I knew that they were one of the founder members, but they were founded in 1875, which is, yes, 143 years ago, which is absolutely crazy. They're one of the original 22 rugby clubs that formed the Northern Rugby Football Union in 1895. So that makes them one of the world's first rugby league teams. They've got a real Challenge Cup pedigree. They were previously known as the Cup Kings, and in the 70s and 80s they reached the final 7 times in 10 years. So, they're a really famous club. They actually, in the 1920s, nearly went to the wall and only just survived thanks to donations from other clubs and so on, which, if you contrast that with the Coventry Northern Union team, who at around about that time went to the wall, you never know what might have happened if the Coventry team had survived. And they went on to win their first Challenge Cup in 1930, upsetting the odds against St Helens. So you can, based on that history, you can see what task the Bears have got to when they play them on Sunday. It's going to be all that history to come up against. So also, they had a fantastic team in the 70s and 80s, but I think the one that most people will probably remember, certainly this is the one that I do, is the team from the late 80s, which was managed by Doug Loughton. They went on to win the Premiership 3 years in a row in the late 80s, and also won the World Club Challenge in 1989. If I just go through, I won't name the whole squad, but if I name a few players from that squad, you can see actually why they won the championship 3 years running. So they had Alan Tate in there, Jonathan Davies, Martin Offiah, who in the 88-89 season scored 58 tries. Absolutely crazy.
Decent, yeah.
Yeah, they had Tony Myler, David Hume, Kurt Sorensen, who we've obviously interviewed on the show, and Richie Ayres as well, all absolute legends of the game. And that's just a handful of the players I've picked out. That was an amazing team. I can still vaguely remember watching them on the TV, because at the time Martin Offiah and Jonathan Davies were two of my favourite players, and Alan Tate as well, who played rugby union as well for Scotland. I mean, he went on to play for Scotland when he was in his 30s after he retired from rugby league and scored loads of tries for them. So that shows what a good player he was. So leading on from that, really, you might expect Martin Offiah, based on that 58 tries in just one season, to be a top try scorer for them. But he's only actually third on the list with 181, a measly 181 tries. It's actually Mal Aspey who is top try scorer with 236. And he actually played an incredible 575 games for Widnes over 16 years. So that's quite some career for them. And, absolute legend for Widnes. There is another thing as well, which we have mentioned in a previous show, but there is a Coventry connection with Widnes. Former Widnes chairman Tony Chambers, who sadly has passed away now in 2009, he was from Coventry, and under his stewardship, the old Norton Park ground was turned into the Halton Stadium, which at the time it was built, it was seen as being one of the best stadiums in the country, and still is one of the best rugby league stadiums in the country. He led the club from the doldrums really back into Super League in 2001. He was also a big supporter of the Bears. I think he actually was there the time when the Bears last played at the Halton Stadium, and he was known to turn up to Bears games as well back in the 2000s. So yeah, a really good connection there with Coventry, and it's a real shame that he's not around to see this game. I'm sure he would have really enjoyed it. So the other thing that I wanted to just give a highlight on some of the players to watch out for in the current Widnes lineup. Some really good players. I don't know whether Widnes will play a full strength team or not. I suspect, since they've had a bit of a mixed season, that they'll not want to take any chances and they'll play a fairly strong lineup. But they've got Krishnan Inu a Kiwi international who's an absolute beast in the centre. He's going to be difficult for anyone up against him to play against. Joe Miller's the captain of the team and standoff, and a really creative player. That'll be a good test for Ben Stead if he's up against him. Mm-hmm. Patrick Van, who's their absolutely beastly Samoan winger. Whoever is on the wing, if he plays, whoever's on the wing against him is going to be up for a hard game. Mm-hmm. And they've got a tackling machine as well in the second row, Matt Whiteley. So really strong lineup. As I said, not sure who are those players will play. And then really on a bit of a sad note, got to mention Kato Otio, who may well have been playing at the game on Sunday. He's the PNG, the Papua New Guinea player who passed away days before he was due to start the season with Widnes. So, a real shame that was. And I know Widnes did some wonderful tributes to him at the time.
Great stuff. Very, very thorough, Craig. That was a lot of. I feel like a lot more than 5 facts, but really good stuff. Any Widnes fans listening who are perhaps curious to get some trivia about the Bears, I've got 5 facts about the Bears a little later in the show. But first, there is a man in the current Bears squad who has not only played against Widnes at Widnes in the Challenge Cup, he's also got experience of scoring against them too. Now that man is Ben Stead, and I caught up with him to hear how he's hoping to add to his personal tally against the Vikings this weekend, as well as just reminiscing on the last time he played against Widnes.
Yeah, it was a while ago now, about 4 years ago. But from memory, it was a great spectacle. There was about 5,000 people watching there, so that was a great opportunity to play in front of a lot of fans, and they were all really, really supportive as well. Towards the end of the game, obviously, when we were getting beat by quite a bit, so it was nice, and the opportunity to play at Widnes against the Super League side was amazing, really.
And this was when you were playing for Keighley, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I was playing at Keighley. So I'd not played many first-team games at all at that point, and I think Keighley had about 3 games within 8 days or something like that. Mm-hmm. So they mixed up the teams a little bit, and obviously got that opportunity to play against Widnes due to that. So obviously grabbed it with 2 hands, really.
Yeah. Were you nervous at all going into that one?
I was nervous. I was still young, still not really experienced, so I was nervous, more excited than nervous. I'm lucky enough to be one of them players who's more excited before a game than nervous. I've known players who are very nervous before games, throwing up and stuff in the changing rooms, but I tend to keep level-headed, and the nerves don't get too much.
Yeah.
So the opportunity to play against them was more than the nerves. So.
Okay, and I know
it was good. Yeah,
I know from the game you converted a try, didn't you? And didn't you manage to nail a 40-20 as well? If I remember that correctly.
I did. Yeah, I did. It's been a long running joke between my friends and stuff that I kicked the 40-20 on Sky Sports. So I did manage to squeeze a 40-20 in there and managed to set up a try and kick a conversion. So it was a good game for me, really. Yeah.
Yeah, well, lots more of that next time around. I'd certainly be up for that. So,
I hope so, yeah.
So how much of a difference do you think the artificial pitch makes at Widnes? Because it often gets talked about. Have you got anything you'll be able to advise the rest of the Bears players on when it comes to that pitch in particular? I mean,
the speed of the game is always a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
Just being on the artificial ground, they like to play quick. I mean, the one thing we talked about after at Keighley is that in terms of physicality, it wasn't that much different.
Yeah.
But the speed of the play it was head and shoulders above. So that's the first thing. It's a lot quicker. The bounce of the ball is a little bit different. When it's been kicked, it seems to run differently. It's a bit more unpredictable. Believe it or not, as a rugby ball is quite unpredictable anyway.
Yeah.
It tends to hold up a little bit. But we train for Coventry, we train on 3G, 4G pitches for our training. So hopefully that'll stand us in good stead to be used to the pitch anyway.
Okay. Now, one thing everybody will have noticed where you've been playing for the Bears this season, you've proved to be a really reliable goal kicker. What goes through your mind when you're lining up a pop-up goal? Do you have a set routine to help you focus, or do you just kick it?
Yeah, I do have a set routine. And as people in the bar have probably heard, my auntie Rachel has taught me from a young age how to kick the ball. So and playing football younger as well has helped me out a little bit with that. But I have a set routine. I tend to I'll pull my socks up first. I take my gum shield out. I take a deep breath in, close my eyes just to steady myself. Mm-hmm. And then I tend to take 3 steps back and two across to cross my feet over, and then visualise the ball going over. Have a look at the post, look back at the ball, another look at the post, and then back at the ball. And then after that, I'm just thinking about striking the ball well. And that seems to have worked for me.
Yeah, it seems to be working this year. You don't feel the need to do any of the Johnny Wilkinson squatting or the Dan Bigger Macarena or anything like that.
No, not at the moment. No, I mean, I might have to add something if I start to miss many more, but at the moment it's going well, so I just like to keep it simple.
Oh, good stuff. Well, fingers crossed you won't need to come up with any new routines. How have you been? Have you been enjoying it at the Bears this year? Because obviously you joined at the start of this season. How are things going? It feels like the squad's very together and very, very much on the same page this year.
It is, yeah. We seem to have formed a great group of players. Just from the start, really, we knew we had to buy into being a close knit group to compete. As obviously League One is a very tough league this year. So we knew that was key to compete with these teams. So we've done that well. We've had some socials at the beginning of the season and pre-season, and we've all seemed to click really well. So it's really enjoyable. For me, I've become one of the more experienced players there. So that role has been one of the more experienced players and giving advice and stuff. I've fitted into quite well, I think. So that's given me some comfort there. So
yeah, no, great,
it's good.
And just lastly, because I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but just lastly, obviously with this game against Widnes, it means you've got the chance to add some more points to your personal tally against Widnes. But how much are you and the rest of the boys looking forward to just getting out there and playing it?
Yeah, there's loads of excitement about getting there between the players. As we say, we go into every game wanting to compete, so it'll be no different. But the excitement for a lot of the players to play against the Super League side is up there, and I'm sure that will keep building. Just that opportunity to play in front of a lot of people is something that you don't often get as a League One player, so that's good.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, fingers crossed it goes well, and we're still in the cup come the end of it as well.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, thanks to Ben for joining us, and for any Widnes fans listening, do be aware that Ben has been massive to the Bears this season, and he can seriously knock them over from anywhere. Craig, do you think the Vikings locals are going to be impressed with the Bears halfbacks? Because not only Ben Stead playing well, but Paul Emanuele's no slouch either, is he?
Yeah, well, I think they'll be impressed with the Bears full stop, and certainly they'll be impressed with the skill of the halfbacks and the territory that they gain, the Bears, from their kicking. Certainly, I would love to see the Bears get a few tries so they can see Ben Stead in action, kicking from the touchline. But yeah, I think they'll be pleasantly surprised with the strength of the Bears lineup.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's now time for me to reveal my 5 facts about the Bears. So these might be interesting to Bears fans, and certainly if there are any Widnes fans still with us, they will hopefully be interesting for you as well. So number 1, the Bears were formed in 1998, meaning that they've picked their 20th anniversary to go further in the Challenge Cup than they've ever gone before. Not bad at all. That being said, rugby league in Coventry has slightly more than 20 years history. There was a team that played in the city before the First World War, and that team certainly ruffled a few feathers. That side wore black and white as their kit, which is something the Bears of 2018 have made a nod towards with a special home kit for this season. Although I'm guessing, given what colours Widnes playing, I imagine we'll probably see the Bears in their more traditional blue and blue kit on Saturday. So fact number 2, this weekend's match is the furthest the Bears have ever got in the Challenge Cup. In fact, just making it to the 4th round was the furthest they've ever gone. And not only that, before this year's run, the Bears had never even been drawn at home in the Challenge Cup before. But then, like buses, we were then treated to 2 in a row. So fact number 3, the Bears' record try scorer is Jamal Hunt, and he recently re-signed for the club for 2018. Sadly, he got injured in his first game back, so we don't know for sure at the time of recording if you're going to see him on Saturday. However, if you do, he'll be the one running very, very fast. However, even if Jammer can't play, Widnes are going to still have to look out for another Bears winger who has been making a great impression over the last couple of seasons. That's Hayden Freeman. He was last year's top try scorer. He is a proper Midlander, and he has very impressive thighs, which the BBC Sport coverage seemed to pick up on in the Dissington game. And he's lethal anywhere near the try line. So, Widnes, you have been warned. Fact number 4, whatever the result on Saturday, the Bears already know that they've won one part of the match, and that is the best hair, because that honour goes to our centre and my favourite player, Dante Morley Samuels, who's got a red afro that can reportedly be seen from space and is quite something to behold. And lastly, when it comes to playing at the Halton Stadium, this Saturday is not the Bears' first rodeo. Oh no, they've been there before. Not only that, they've won there before. Technically, they've got a 100% record at the Halton Stadium. And guess what, fact fans? It's not a coincidence at all that I've picked this fact as number 5, because it means we can roll right into our final interview of this special episode, which is me catching up with Bears club president Ron Banks to hear the story of that last time the Bears were in Widnes. Okay, so I'm joined now by club president Ron Banks. And Ron, this is a special preview episode for our trip up to Widnes. And one of the things that came out when the draw was made, one of the things that very quickly appeared on Twitter was photos of the other time that the Bears have been up at the Halton Stadium. So we technically got a 100% record at this stadium, haven't we? So tell me a bit about the last time we were there.
Yes, well, the last time we were there was in 2004 when we played Warrington Wizards in what was then the final of National League 3. Mm-hmm. It was a playoff system, and it was the finals day, so ours was the first game of 3 finals. And it was a great day because that we won, but not only did we win, it was the style that we won in. We absolutely destroyed them. We had it was a really good team. And the people, I missed a try, the first try of the second half, because I couldn't get away from people wanting to shake my hand and saying how impressed they were with the Bears. And there were some good judges that were saying that as well.
It must have been an incredibly proud moment for you and the club.
It was. We were made, the then chairman of Widnes was a guy called Tony Chambers, and Tony was actually a Coventrian. His mum lived in Coventry, and he made us particularly welcome. Yeah. And in fact, him and his wife came to a few of our home games when we played at Old Coventrians. Okay. He came along, and so he was very supportive. That was nice that we had him supporting us as well.
So when you saw this draw come out, and obviously once the Bears actually confirmed their place there, I mean, did all the memories of last time you were up there come flooding back?
Absolutely did, and in fact you alluded to it before, that I made the point that we've never lost at the Halton Stadium.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's a tough ground to play. It's an artificial pitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought, wow, we're back there playing them.
Yeah.
Playing them this time.
There's the difference. How have you enjoyed the cup run this year? Because it's further than the team had ever gone before.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first time that we played was away at East Hull in the cup. And we played away at Siddle. We all seemed to get an away draw.
Yeah.
So it was a real. Then Oldham, of course, was an away draw. So it was a real treat to get a home draw. Bit of a potential banana skin of playing at Dissington. But we came through that, and straight away we got another potential one with Pilkington Rex. And we came through that. And it would have been nice then to get a home draw. But we've had 2, so
would have been expecting too much from.
I think so. It comes apart, you guys say.
So we've both mentioned it. The Bears are unbeaten at the Halton Stadium. What do you reckon this time around? We're going to keep that unbeaten record up, do you think?
If I say absolutely, will anybody believe me?
The cup's a place for dreams.
The cup's a place for dreams. I think that we've done well to get this far, and I don't want to put a damper on it, but I think I've got to be realistic and say this is probably a step too far for us.
But you never know.
But you never know. It's that sport, isn't it? There's exactly. That dream. There's that. We could have a great day. They could have an off day. Perhaps we'll get a decent ref. Am I allowed to say anything about the referees?
Yeah, say everything you want.
So perhaps we'll get a few breaks.
Yeah, and you know,
this is our cup final. Yeah. This is our cup final.
But if we do get through, Wembley in our 20th anniversary year, that'd be nice.
Yeah, we'll be playing Barry at Wembley come August.
Dream. Brilliant. Ron, thank you so much. Okay, thanks to Ron for his memories there. Well, that's about it for this preview episode. Hope you enjoyed it, whoever you're shouting for at the weekend. Craig, this is often the point where we'll make our predictions. My head is saying that Widnes will almost certainly win, but my heart is just full of the joys of the Cup and reckons that this is the year that the Bears are going to Wembley. What do you think? Because the Bears have got nothing to lose, have they?
They've got nothing to lose. They need to start well. They need to give it a good go early on. If they're still in the game after half time, then who knows what might happen. Everyone will expect Widnes to be too strong, and no doubt they'll have players against whom the Bears players have never come up against before. So it's going to be a tough day, but the Bears lads just need to try and enjoy it. If they can score a few tries, get some points on the board, and it'll be a wonderful experience for them. Playing in front of a big crowd is going to be great either way.
Yep, certainly is. So all that remains now is just to see what happens on the pitch, really. So it's Widnes Vikings against Coventry Bears, Challenge Cup 5th round this Saturday, 1 p.m. at the Halton Stadium in Widnes. We can't wait for it. It's going to be a great day all round. Thank you so much for listening, and do join us again next week to hear how it all went. You can find us and links to all of our various pages at covbearspodcast.com. Do check it out, and we will see you soon. And Craig, here we go. We're off to Widnes.
Yes, can't wait. Cannot wait.